Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we had the join midway through, but we are catching the first map of FaZe versus compLexity right now. FaZe very close to just getting eliminated on Hollywood right here, right now, but they were able to clutch out and stay alive, but only 2 minutes left as they take on Streets FaZe. And Hex, what are you saying?
Yeah, almost a first hold on to FaZe. They did clutch it out towards the end, but now the fights are continuing here. It is they did complete the map, did compLexity on the side. You do see 3 minutes, no extra time though, so FaZe backs against the wall, not looking great so far on Hollywood. This fight goes back and forth as they do trade out kills very early. Continuing to put some pressure on though is FaZe as they are getting some momentum on the cart, scrappy back and forth. A couple kills will lead FaZe to having some area opened up here as they continue to push probably the first fight, I would imagine. I wasn't in the entire game. First fight that they won decisively right there.
Really was. And then you take a look at their comp here. They are not running a Zarya, so Shadowbird not going to have that wombo combo at the ready. You have to go for a more raw Dragon Strike, but did just take out Heart Blue. Now let's take a look at 2easy. 2easy coming in over the top. Has Deadeye at the ready. Could be a very high noon here in just a moment. Earth Shatter coming in from JKW, but here's 2easy. In over the top. Doesn't wait for the skulls, just goes for the quick damage. Earth Shatter coming in from Factor Fiction there, they're trying to set things up, but it's really Nicholas coming back in on the turnabout, picking up 2 kills, and FaZe going to get sent back. And Hex, you take a look at it for FaZe, they only have 1 more good push left.
Yeah, Shadowburn did switch momentarily to the Genji, but thinks better of it, comes on to the Reaper instead, but they are in that desperation time here, and it's going to be pretty blank for both sides as far as ultimates go, so a straight-up duel incoming. Heart Blue up top, gonna look for an entry hook.
He is going to be looking for, just to clarify the people,
yeah, it's Rockets.
For time purposes, we said the lower round that they could start a little bit earlier, so that's what's going on here. Yeah, though, taking down Rockets early on. It's a quick 65 for compLexity. He's looking for more, not going to pick up 2easy, but zones him entirely out of this fight as Torque in the back, able to deal with Zombs, takes him out. And 2easy and Shadowburn trying to bring this back. It's back and forth as Shadowburn now looking to be the hero with 2easy. The Bash brothers of the FaZe DPS holding it through in what was a rough situation. It was a 6v5 to start things out. They're in overtime and they still might extend this out here, Hex.
Hardblue getting chased down by Zombs, does turn around on him, does the 180, gets him with the hook, but they are going to stop out this card. Hardblue with that last kill did get a whole hog. Both tanks now alive on the point as they continue to reinforce for compLexity. Looking good for them as they flip this fight around. They stop it!
They're able to stop at the last moment. Surprising, they just weren't able to stay on the cart. And as a result, compLexity going to be taking map 1 over FaZe on Hollywood. So this is a little bit rough for FaZe, where I know we talked about earlier in the day before we started that FaZe is a different team from day to day. It felt like the FaZe we saw yesterday wasn't going to lose to anyone, but the FaZe we're seeing today, a little bit more immortal.
Absolutely, and Shadowburn did play as Genji early on, I guess. That ended up with this fight of the game here. We did see this fight, but probably the only fight that went their way consistently as they did get shut out. Now I'm looking at the map draft here. Nepal's in it. Hanamura made its way to the pool. Eichenwalde back in there, and Gibraltar. So we started out on Hollywood, the old standby, but an interesting pool remaining in this best of 5, as that is a quick 1-0 advantage for compLexity.
So no Kings Row or Dorado remaining.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I feel like we have been getting a lot more map variety. Maybe it was some of the bigger tournaments that came out that really forced the hand of teams, but we don't always see just 3 of the same.
So if you guys are just tuning in, this is the lower bracket. It is all best of 5s. We have this best of 5. The winner of this will face against Liquid, who just got, you know, probably stunned by Cloud9's new roster. Went down 3-0 to Cloud9 in the upper bracket, so that'll be our next set. Then our grand finals will be a best of 5. Cloud9 already up there waiting. They will have a 1-game advantage going into that as well, considering they did not go down to the lower bracket. So Cloud9, I mean, that's been the story all night, but, you know, we still have 3 teams fighting for the ability to go against Cloud9 in the grand finals. We'll move on to our second map here. Hey, you know the biggest benefit of going into this, like halfway through? I'm no longer lobby leader.
You don't have the responsibility at all here, Hex. All the weight of the world is off of your shoulders.
Take that, Kai Kai. I'm not trusted with responsibility anymore, Kai Kai. Burn.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that's going to be that. But we are going to be waiting here to see what the second map will be here in just a moment. We update a few things here. But yeah, FaZe versus compLexity. And compLexity coming out strong. So, I mean, we knew compLexity came out strong against Liquid as well. They were within 1 map of knocking Liquid to the lower bracket, so We'll see how things work out here. This is the lower bracket semifinals for those who are tuning in. After this will be the lower bracket finals and then the grand finals. So lots of good Overwatch still heading your way.
I mean, the FaZe versus compLexity is a very funny matchup to me because it is they're teams that I feel are the most. I have no idea which version of them I'm going to see from night to night. So compLexity can be world beaters at any given point in time. They look like they can take maps off of top teams. FaZe is the same way. FaZe has been much more consistent lately, but this is kind of a coin flip kind of match for me, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that compLexity beat FaZe there, but FaZe did 2-0 Rise Nation on the way in. compLexity did 2-0 Tempo on the way into this match too, so they're both riding pretty high right now.
Absolutely, and again, noting the variability of support there, I think you look at how things went into the Overwatch Open, right, where compLexity ended up just laying goose eggs, wasn't able to go forward and make it to Atlanta. At the same time where FaZe went out of their mind and played way above their weight class, beating teams like Rogue. But you look at it from week to week, you're right. You don't know which compLexity or which FaZe is going to show up. Sometimes you have a compLexity that shows up that looks like they're one of the very top teams in North America, and sometimes they don't look like that at all. But unfortunately for FaZe, it does appear that compLexity really did come to play tonight.
Right. I mean, not making it into E-League, I think it's really nice to see compLexity actually bounce back from that too, because not making qualifiers to E-League when you're absolutely expected to, that could just tank a team. That could have been like it for them. They could have never recovered mentally from that, but it appears that they took it as a learning moment, a lesson, and they've been playing pretty well since then in other tournaments as well. So really nice to see them bounce back, but variable is the best way to describe both of these teams. I would have expected FaZe to be able to beat compLexity. Not the case so far, but we'll see what ends up happening here on King of the Hill. For me tonight, I just want to see Shadowburn just play a little more, a little better. I think he had a couple really rough Reaper games, and I don't know. I think it might be coming to the point where we saw him switch to Genji, then switch off it immediately, trying to adjust to the meta of it. But at some point, just run your Genji. You're still the best Genji in the world, arguably. So I think maybe on King of the Hill will be when he does finally jump to that Genji and then stay on that Genji.
I think it would be a good look for him, if nothing else. If all else fails, you go with what you're most comfortable with. One thing I will note, by the way, about just that on compLexity, is that a lot of teams took the post-E-League period as a way of reforming their teams, redirecting their rosters, doing change-ups and all the rest. It would have been very easy for compLexity to drop 2 or 3 people in a wide attempt to just try and change things up for the better, but they kept the same roster. They didn't go for any drops, and they said, you know what, we're confident in our roster. It didn't work out this time, and they're showing pretty good results here as a result.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to sound strange, but they're an inconsistent team just as far as like how well they played any given time, but they've been consistently in the discussion for top teams in North America, perhaps outside of the top 5 right now looking into it, but they've always been around since they've been rebranded several different times. But they're always a team that if I'm a top 5 team, I'm not thrilled ever to play compLexity because they can flip that switch and then make any team look bad.
compLexity right now, in many ways, is the ultimate dark horse of a team where you don't go into a tournament necessarily immediately fearing them or picking them as a favorite, but I don't think there's any team in the world that's super comfortable going against them just because they do have that ability to surprise you. The TGOs do have the ability to suddenly just have an enormous game, and what the? Wow. I have no idea. Someone snuck into the game and then left the game, so...
At least they left.
All right, I guess we'll just leave that as is, a mystery for the ages. Either way, both teams getting set up once more. It's gonna be FaZe rolling on some point. Shadowburn not on that Genji, on the Reaper instead. So sticking with the more meta pick right now, looking to punish Reinhardt right away, but it's Hardblue looking to punish Shadowburn in turn, lands the first hook. But overall, this isn't necessarily going the best here for compLexity. They take out Shadowburn, but they lose a lot of people in turn. It's Hardblue with 2 pickoffs, trying to keep compLexity in this, but his team is dying all around him right now, Hex.
Yeah, Zam's Zarya has always been very, very good. He is the most steadfast and consistent part of this FaZe team, in my opinion. When his Zarya is on, they're a difficult team to beat. And just based on how, I mean, 2Easy's been playing really well tonight, but Shadowburn is having one of his rougher stretches on DPS. So if they are going to win games, I think a lot of it will come down to their tank play. Factor Fiction's been good tonight as well. And Forsaken's had his moments on Zenyatta too. So we'll see if they can pick up the slack.
Factor Fiction going for the charge in, misses the other Reinhardt, just goes thunk into the ice wall. But while that's happening, Shadowburn able to get to the back, takes down Nicholas, looking for more, has Lucio just running for his life. 3 extra kills here for FaZe, and FaZe definitely coming in stronger on Nepal to start things out here. Definitely more their speed.
Hardblue does burn his ultimate there on his way out, does get killed for it too, and now you're in a terrible position to try to push in here because you haven't seen a single ultimate come out from the team you're pushing into, and this is a rough doorway anyway, so you're going to be pushing into a team fully loaded on ults, on control points. That's really a rough spot to be in, but they do find an entry because they just weren't even holding up front, so FaZe just letting them in, letting them fight. A lot of teams will hold that front door much more aggressively.
Graviton Surge coming in here from Zoms, trying to set things up once more, and it does! It's a double kill from Zoms right after that. Heartblue with the pickoff on Too Easy, but again, not gonna be enough. Recurring theme here where Heartblue's getting pickoffs, but he's doing it as his team is dying all around him. But
he's killed Too Easy twice, yeah.
2 kills on Too Easy.
Well, Too Easy has had enough of that. He's going to switch on to McCree, who's also great on this stage, but just the economy was also beautiful there. They're not using overkill. They only used 2 ults to completely wipe up a fight, and now Shadowburn hiding. They don't see him.
Shadowburn just holding on here, looking for Heartblue, looking to get rid of the problem. Heartblue going to juke him around the wall, but brings him right back. Shadowburn getting thoroughly outplayed there. Now we'll see if compLexity can make the most of the 65 advantage. Soundbear did just go down here for the side of FaZe, and honestly, Heartblue with another hook, just taking control of this fight. Torque and Nicholas in the back. It's a triple for Heartblue, just systematically dissecting this FaZe team, and compLexity, at the last moment, will be getting control at this point.
Yeah, you could actually see the thoughts go through Shadowburn's head as Heartblue came in, and he was like, I'm gonna go get him, and then he thought better of it, got a shield, and it was like, no, I'm gonna get out, but Heartblue does not let you escape. Heartblue picking on Shadowburn yet again, takes him out early in that fight, but it is 99% to about 15 here. They have to win every single fight, but they're holding much more aggressively than FaZe was.
They are, and I think they kind of have to here because they lose one fight, they're going to lose the round. They have to take some degree of risk. But here's the problem, is that they are at a big ult disadvantage. Zoms holding on to that Graviton right now. Graviton can come out, pulling in the 2 right away. Factor Fiction on the Torque. Heartblue, though, with the counterfire once more, taking down Shadowburn. So 5v5 right now from compLexity. They weather the worst of that Graviton, but flow-wise, will they be able to do it with FaZe? As FaZe goes right in, and they will! Heartblue finds Too Easy at the lowest of HPs, able to grit it out. And it's not clean for compLexity, but it looks like they're going to win in what was a very rough situation for them.
Heartblue's had about 7 kills this game. 3 of them have been on Shadowburn, 3 of them have been on Too Easy, and he just grabbed 1 on Forsaken. So he is absolutely terrorizing the DPS for FaZe.
Alrighty, so look at this once more. Shadowburn is holding the Death Blossom. This is a moment where, again, 1-1 fight for FaZe will win them this round, but compLexity definitely turning the paradigm around. They're in a better position alt-wise. Shadowburn taking the low approach right now. Might get sped up and nanoed here in just a moment. There he goes. Going in to the backline. Gonna get slept immediately. Still ends up getting the kill on JKW. Both Reinhardt's down for both teams, but the counter Soundbear coming in here for compLexity. And Heartblue takes down Too Easy once more. It has not been a good game for Too Easy versus Heartblue, as Heartblue picks up 2 before finally falling.
Heartblue also started that fight off by hooking Factor Fiction into the Abyss, so taking out the shield tank opens it up for his DPS on his squad, so now not even going to be in a position to really fight this out. It's going to be JKW just trying to ignore damage so he can get onto the point, but they're holding super aggressive and they're not going to let them in. That's going to be stage for compLexity after it was very much in favor of FaZe, 99% to 0 there.
That's one of those cases where it was really good play for compLexity to bring it back, and certainly surgical Roadhog play coming out from Heartblue, but on the same note, FaZe had a huge ultimate advantage and they completely wasted it there.
Yeah.
They bear some responsibility in how that ended up, and now they're down around where they very well should be up around.
I wonder what the thinking was when you had every single ultimate and you used to, they had like 4 up on the defense and they were holding points and then they backed out over stairs. I rarely see teams just not hold front gate there, especially with your tanks that can get in and out of there without necessarily being afraid of dying. Maybe they're afraid of the Heartblue hooks to start off a fight or something like that, but to give up as much ground and to give them free entry when you had every advantage and you're already holding point was strange to say the least.
All right, and here we go. Both teams engaging on the high ground. Torque right now dancing around the outside. Has to be careful of that one-shot potential from Too Easy there. Too Easy, though, more concerned with other matters, like pushing the rest of compLexity back. Shadowbird getting deep into the backline, has to back out. This has been relatively bloodless so far, Hex, for the start. I don't know, but as I say that, Shadowburn and Zom's able to get the first 2 kills, and compLexity definitely a little bit more out of sorts.
Well, they do add a kill to even it up, so it is 4v4 right now, and they kind of sneak their way into the point, get the wall on. Here comes an Ana boost.
The Ana boost coming in right at the end, saving Reinhardt from his icy fate. JKW swings the hammer, ends up picking up 3 with the aid of JKO. TJO, JKO. What? I'm just like mixing my things here. I mixed TJO and JKW is what happened there.
Yeah, well, I mean, why doesn't he tag up? There's only Nicholas and Torque tagged up as TJO, and an old school label that they brought over onto the Overwatch scene. But JKW did swing his hammer all the way through, and when you do that and you get that Ana boost, you're gonna have Earthshatter up at the end of it, and he does. Gets walled off.
Earthshatter coming in from JKW, not quite getting as much as he wants, and here comes Shadowburn into the backline, picks up 4, piercing through compLexity, the nano boost enabling that sort of nonsense, and that is going to be a full and complete team wipe here for FaZe, but compLexity starting out strong, almost 50% to their name to start things out.
A sneaky 50% too that you did not really expect coming after that very long bloodless brawl in the beginning. They just took the positioning away, then somehow were able to take enough poke damage to get that Ana ultimate early on, but a 50% that has already given them advantage. We'll see what they kind of want to do entry-wise. Here comes the wall from Too Easy. He's picking on JKW, trying to segment him off.
Sound barrier coming out here from FaZe. They want to keep their advantage as Too Easy picks off 2 immediately. No blizzard required, just an icicle to Torque's head. Nicholas, though, trying to make the most of this, but he is cut off on all sides, will be falling, and FaZe should be able to maintain their advantage here, but take a look at compLexity. compLexity, they're stockpiling the war chest. They're going to have Graviton into the next fight.
That is a super
and Pulse Bomb
chase.
and Death Blossom, so Hardblue can really set up Torque to go crazy in the next engagement.
Yeah, they're going to have the advantage as it does even itself out percentage-wise. They went really deep on the chase, not punished for it, not able to get the kills late on the chase either, though. So another beautiful wall from Too Easy, though, segments them off. That is only 2 on the way in.
Sets up Torque, the Pulse Bomb goes in, takes down Zoms right away, but he goes too deep, ends up freezing to death at the hands of Too Easy. It's a turnabout for FaZe, and FaZe now about 2 team fights away from winning this map.
Yeah, Too Easy has been an issue for them every time they put a tank in there. JKW has been just completely isolated from his team. They're going to try it again. This is not surprising. I was going to mention that Hardblue should probably just move to his Roadhog here because they're having trouble with their entry, and one of the best ways to get entry is just kill someone with your hook on the way in.
Nicholas moving in, nano boost at the ready, goes for the behind the back Death Blossom and picks up 2. Wasn't where he was initially going to, but the fight went in ways he wasn't expecting. 3 kills here from the side of compLexity, and they are well suited now to retake control of this point. But Hex, they are going to have to hold on to it for the rest of the map because at 96%, they have no more room for error.
Yeah, but it is a Hardblue coming in, does get a hook there. Factor Fiction takes out JKW on the way out, but Hardblue took out Too Easy in that fight. And you need a Roadhog to try to deal with Mei. You got to get that burst damage in before she can block herself out, and he makes Too Easy really think twice about where his positioning is going to be, and he hadn't been punished on that Mei so far, so a nice switch up allowing them to take it. And you're right, but there's a, you know, it's at 60%. Oh, God.
That should not have happened there. Hardblue wasn't being sneaky at all. You can hear Roadhog steps a mile away, and Shadowburn just not respecting the hog there. I mean, it's a good early pick from Hardblue, but I just think Shadowburn should have been able to see that coming.
Well, it's going to slow down the next push, and now it's going to be the final push, because they wanted to go in, but they're not going to go in 5v6. It's going to be about 80, so if they do not win this fight and pull it back for FaZe, they're going to be in trouble.
Hardblue right now staying in over the top, was looking for that pickoff, doesn't get it right away. The rest of his team, though, we'll have to worry about the ultimate edge, but Nicholas gets that back, takes down Too Easy. Hardblue creeping, finds Ana, deletes Ana from the game. Shadowburn moving in. However, while this is going on, and FaZe still doing decent work on this, Hardblue, one of the last ones to be alive, and is still trying to fight for the points, just not going to be enough. So it started out strong for compLexity there, but FaZe able to turn it back in their favor.
Yeah, really nice. I think a lot of the fights that they won were because of Too Easy's Mei play. He just seemed to have a really nice understanding of when they were going to rotate in. They also would just started to do this thing where they just sent JKW in alone, knowing he was going to get isolated anyway so that they could bait out the wall. That's when they started being more successful. compLexity is they'd send him up alone, and then Too Easy would think like, hey, I got him, I split off the team, but his team wasn't even coming that way anyway. So some of the mind games coming in on control points here. We are going to see, I believe, a Tracer v Tracer battle. This is the stage for it. Too Easy and Torque both repping the Tracer, and it does make perfect sense that Hardblue's just going to stay on Roadhog.
That would, I mean, Hardblue, with how the Roadhog has been working out for them, it makes perfect sense. Even though Zarya is a more traditional pick here, Hardblue just gets so much off Roadhog. It's kind of like the same theory with Shadowburn, where you figure, well, gee, why isn't Shadowburn just going Genji all the time? I think you can make a similar argument to Hardblue with just how good they are on their respective heroes. And there he is, he finds Hook on the Factor Fiction, pulls him out of a safe zone, does a lot of damage to him, but it creates an opening for the side compLexity. They pick off the first two pickoffs. Hardblue piling it on, grabs another hook, and compLexity will be taking this first point.
Yeah, Shadowburn did have probably his best game on Reaper last time, and a lot of that was based on like the nice ultimates he got, but he did seem to find his comfort, of course, compared to earlier this evening when he necessarily wasn't having the best games on Reaper, so he's going to stick with it. But Hardblue's hooks, not only do they kill people, but oftentimes you don't even have to kill people. If you can pull a tank out of position and let your team collapse, and then you saw there that Shadowburn tried to come in and save his tank who just got hooked, so it just really throws a wrench into the team's plans when you have someone who just gets yanked a mile out of position.
It really does, and Hardblue right now, he's just looking for once more, was looking for the look on Too Easy, not going to get it, and this is an opportunity for FaZe to turn the table. Shadowburn takes down JKW really early, and Too Easy looking for that sweet revenge on Hardblue, throws a pulse bomb, doesn't connect him, and meanwhile, Nicholas into the back line, picks up 4, just removing FaZe from the point. Even got Too Easy in that too, and
yeah,
Too Easy's on Tracer.
He had to earn that one too. They kind of smartly did it where they boosted him before he had Death Blossom, knowing that if he can just get the boost going, he's going to make up that last bit of percentages. So he got a couple nice shots in early, able to Death Blossom clean up the remaining 4, already 55% for compLexity.
And here's Hardblue going to the back, looking for the Lucio pick, doesn't get, but Earth Shadow seg him up, just brutally executing Zarya there. Whole Hog coming out late in the fight, gonna break the Reinhardt shield, and he is looking for the triple kill. Rocket's getting choked, and what a hook on Too Easy, just barely getting saved by Shadowburn.
It's a great comment in chat that Hardblue could hook Sombra into the game. Well done, chat.
So we're just gonna see a random hook, it's like, wait, it just, I don't recognize this hero. How did it even hit this hero? What?
Tearing space and time with those hooks, but regardless, they do end up getting cleaned up despite those hooks. Shadowburn and Too Easy did combine and come to life on the DPS force of FaZe. 69% for compLexity, so about 1, maybe 2 more fights that they have to win to take this stage away. 1-1 here on Nepal.
Shake taking down Shadowburn pretty early on. It's gonna be a 65 Factor Fiction. Going the charge in the Reinhardt, trying to bring him out of that Graviton to open things up. Not quite successful as you would like. Late Earth Shadow coming in, gonna knock down 2. Will it be enough here? As Too Easy gets that back line, is picked up 2. compLexity on the back foot. We've seen Too Easy be really effective with this cleanup, and even though Hardblue's still alive, this is a little bit too much to ask. He is going to get escorted off the ledge, courtesy of Factor Fiction.
A little bit tough for them too, because Rock is really smart, does save his Ana ultimate. Too Easy can have Pulse Bomb up too, so they're going to be pushing into a team ready for them. Nicholas about there with his Death Blossom, but Shake nowhere near where he needs to be on the Ana ultimate to really change the game here. As I say that, he's now at 50% from 20% this mere seconds ago.
All right, Shadowburn right now just creeping here in the back, gonna get the nano boost, going to the back line once more, takes down Nicholas immediately. Too Easy gets his salty revenge on Hardblue. It's 4 kills here from FaZe, and they're gonna hold on once more. And now it's compLexity, their backs against the wall. They must win the next fight, or that is going to be it. They will have some tools in the war chest though. They will have Death Blossom, into Pulse Bomb, into an Earth Shatter. So 3 things up there, but Shadowburn, this is where Shadowburn can thrive. There's no big support ultimates to foil him, and his Death Blossom could just end this game outright in favor of FaZe.
Nice hook though, takes down Too Easy very early. You don't want to play that game when Hardblue is around.
Too Easy going full salt at the ha-ha-ha, but while that's going on, Shadowburn sets up his team for 4 kills. FaZe, despite that early pickoff, not going quietly, fighting it right back. Shadowburn finishes Hardblue, and FaZe will take the round now, 1 round away from going forward.
Apparently Too Easy not thrilled with that hook.
The hook was non-spectator mode. I hate to burst Too Easy's bubble, but sadly, wasn't that thing. Twitter post incoming. That's the self-burn. Forsaken is on Too Easy's team, and he's roasting him. Oh, man.
Like, he's not wrong. I bet you that him typing that just stopped Too Easy in the middle of a tweet that he didn't send out. Because Too Easy, a notorious tweeter, pretty funny though. I mean, I follow
the tweet could already be out there, Hex. You never know.
It's possible. I mean, I gotta say, of all the tournaments we've done lately, this might be one of my favorite lobby chats.
There's been people getting roasted left, right, and center. The players, you, from mostly, of course, that's entirely coming from C9, but still.
It's just Kai. It's just Kai. All right, well, they are going to battle it out up top here. Last time we saw this happen, it was a good minute before the first kill actually came in. JKW is going to charge in, does not end up connecting with anyone. A wall-off comes in, segments them off, and Shake takes on Factor Fiction.
2 kills coming out here from compLexity early on. See if they can continue dominance here on this high ground. Too Easy up against the World. World going to win. Not going to take a 1v5 all that often as a Mei.
Yeah, Hardblue noticed how well Too Easy did on the Mei there and how effective walls are, especially when you're going to have these fights coming in through these small doorways. Takes up the Mei mantle of his own. Really nice wall there to segment them off, to keep 2 on the outside that they cleaned up. So very nice play so far from Hardblue on something other than the Roadhog.
And take a look at Torque right now. Torque just hanging about here. He has to go a little bit more Maverick here on his pulse bombs, and he succeeds. Blows up Shadowburn early on this fight, and that is going to be a great opening here for compLexity. They'll take this fight. No casualties. Exactly what you want when defending here on a control map like Nepal.
Yeah, the main benefit is also because you're always going to be playing into an Ana, right? That's just where the meta is right now, and it is one of the better counters to a boosted Reinhardt. Not only can you put a wall in his way and make his path all that much more difficult, you can live through it because of your ice block, and right there you saw Hardblue just completely negate the Reinhardt ultimate by slowing him down so that his team could deal with it. The biggest advantage of the Ana boost on Reinhardt is the speed, and taking that away by Mei is great.
Alright, so it's going to be FaZe coming in once more, but they're a serious ult disadvantage right now. Hardblue taking down Zombs, throwing down the Blizzard, making this even icier. 4 kills out here from compLexity, and they are bringing it to FaZe here. FaZe has just struggled to get anything going, and they didn't build that much in the way of ult charge there, Hex. They're still pretty much bankrupt when it comes to ults.
Yeah, Shake hit a
They will get a sound barrier, though, towards the very, very end.
Yeah, Shake darted Shadowburn early in there, too. A really nice play from him as they was just sleeping forever. The rest of the team cleaned up, and then they came back to deal with Shadowburn, not able to get out alive. So they've been pushing into ultimates this entire game. It has been all
Oh, no. Nicholas off the top rope, picks up 2. Shadowburn takes mortal damage as a result. 3 kills once more from compLexity, and now for FaZe, it's a question whether or not they're going to be able to even keep this in overtime here. 93%, they didn't leave themselves enough time for another full push.
Shake's Ana has been absolutely ill. He had another beautiful dart there to save his team, who was getting, it was Joe Meister getting jumped on by a ravaging Winston there. And so, yeah, that was completely one-sided in favor of compLexity. The switches onto different heroes and Shake's play on Ana was impressive. We're going to final stage here.
Final stage is on the way, and this is where we saw Roadhog hooks be so important for Hardblue. I gotta think he's gonna swap onto it once more, and that is exactly what he is going to do. And keys to victory here for FaZe. I mean, I guess the thing that's interesting is that Shadowburn in particular has really been shut down by this Roadhog play. Normally when FaZe does well on control point maps, it's Shadowburn going crazy on a Genji or just having big Reaper moments, and because of the shutdown coming down from compLexity, it's really messed with FaZe's ability to play control.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they switch on, too, because Too Easy is running this Mei right now. That is the difference between these two teams, and Hardblue had a pretty nice life against Mei when he was running the Roadhog as well. So they're going to give up some ground here early on as FaZe. They try to block them off on the wall in, but not quite there.
Too Easy, RIP, thrown into the pit. A quick strike coming out from Hardblue. And it's a 64 already. And now he's going for another hook. Finds Forsaken. 4 kills to nothing here for compLexity. Not a good start for FaZe.
No, not at all. And Shake continues to play really well on his Ana. They seem like they're hitting on all cylinders right now, where their communication looks good because they're calling solid damage. When Reinhardt took a little bit of damage, they did find a Tracer coming in out of nowhere. That must have been a comm call as he rotated around back to off those kills. So they're just going to go straight ahead into this.
Oh, Factor Fiction, so lucky he wasn't drawn into the pit off that. Ends up tying the JKW anyways. JKW making it double, rolling forward. W Mouse 1 in action. And that wasn't even set up by an Ana ult, by the way. That was just like standard, normal Reinhardt.
No, and they continue to have ultimate advantage. This is just exactly what happened last stage. They're always pushing into ults. The economy has been absolutely there for this complexity team, and no one even close to an ultimate on the side of FaZe right now. They're all nearing about 70%. They have to do one more fight without any advantage.
FaZe is looking gassed here. There's no other way of really putting it in. Take a look at Hardblue right now. He's just sitting in the back looking for another pickoff to start things off. Backing up, and they know who the threat is. Oh my goodness! Is he going into the pit? He is! What a hook by Hardblue. However, the rest of this still working out pretty well from FaZe. They're moving in. Factor Fiction. And it's a boop for Nicholas. Both Reapers in the pit by the time it is all said and done. Really good engage there by FaZe, and they did it without Shadowburn. Shadowburn just bit the big one immediately.
I do think if you're on a boosted Reaper and you're Death Blossoming that you should just work like a helicopter. He should not have fallen down there. This should have gone up into the sky, but that, I mean,
Reaper copter, make it a thing.
Yeah, it's my note to the developers. All right, so they do take it back, and now they're the ones working with all their advantages. They were able to use their, their fights to bring their ult advantage up. Hardblue looks to get sneaky. Does take out Forsaken on the left side.
He gets to pick off, and JKW, the other threat, coming in from behind. Earthshatter knocking down most of FaZe there, and FaZe are fighting it back, but as they are, they're losing the point. Ana bites off more than she can chew. JKW immediately dispatching her, and now FaZe backs against the wall once more. This is a do-or-die situation. If they lose the next fight, they're very likely to lose the game. They do have Soundbear and Nano Boost, though, so expect Shadowburn to go huge here. If he doesn't get hooked into a pit.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fear of the hog in this team, too, right? You can't even just be working on flanks alone or anything, because you're just so afraid of where Hardblue is.
Here comes Shadowburn rolling in once more with the Nano Boost. Hasn't gotten anything yet as Hardblue able to take down Factor Fiction. 5v5 on both teams. Hardblue, though, hook about to come off cooldown, looking for Shadowburn. They mutually kill each other there. That's lag compensation for you there. Don't see it as often 60 tick, but both teams fighting out here for this point. Bit of an advantage here to FaZe, though, as they are taking on complexity in what was a must-win fight.
Must win, and they do it, but they're going to have to win every fight from here on out. Probably going to be 3 or 4 of those fights. They do have some ultimates to work with as well. JKW has had Factor Fiction's number all stage here. He's been winning every single charge, has put him into the wall several times. He's going to have his ultimate up too, so back against the wall is the correct
Oh my
term.
goodness, how does this keep happening? At least they punish Hardblue immediately, but the Ana is dead. They're not going to have a Nano Boost early on, and this is setting up the rest of complexity. However, they're not able to really capitalize on it. You see Nicholas coming in with the Nano Boost Death Blossom, only picks up 1, hasn't done enough. Shadowburn looking for the revenge, but the sleep stops him cold. As Torque right now going in, takes down 2, and complexity now on the verge of winning this map. I'm not really sure if overtime is going to be a thing here, at least not for very long from the side of FaZe. Oh, goodbye, Raucus.
Well, I mean, if they do end up bringing this back, they gotta give Forsaken a bonus, because he was alive way longer than
Psalm's going into the pit. Hardblue, these men have families. Please stop. Oh my goodness. So many people thrown in the pits, Hex. Gravity, really my MVP.
Gravity is OP. I've been saying that since day one. Shadowburn will get another play of the match, but that is complexity up 2-0 now.
Shadowburn having himself a good moment here, but was not enough. Complexity now up to 2-0 or FaZe. Again, I don't think I really expected this going into this matchup.
No, not at all. Hardblue just, it continues to baffle me. You remember, like, very first when we started seeing Hardblue run the Roadhog, and like you and I both kind of thought like, well, teams will adjust to this, right? And like, whereas like, well, I mean, he's getting them because teams are just not used to seeing a Roadhog do that or this or that. The story's been out on Hardblue for months now, and teams still don't adjust to it. Like, you know what he's going to do, where he's going to be, how he plans on doing it, and he still gets every single initiation kill that he looks for. It's baffling. I mean, congrats to him, but I really thought, like, oh, teams will figure it out. It's cool while it lasts, and Hardblue's doing cool stuff, but it's just... He's
really made the hero his own at a point where, again, you have players where Shadowburn is a good example, even if he didn't really rely on it in that game, where some people are so good at certain heroes that you can make them work even when they're not as much in the meta, where it's like, meta says play Zarya here. Hardblue disagrees and definitely made the Roadhog work there.
All right, so it is 2-0 for complexity as FaZe will choose the next map. In the pool, it is still Hanamura and Eichenwalde. as well as Watchpoint Gibraltar. So some interesting maps remaining. This is, of course, a best of 5, complexity up 2-0. The winner of this will take on Liquid in the lower bracket finals, and the winner of that goes to the top level bracket at a game disadvantage to face this new Cloud9 team that just put it on Liquid not too long ago.
And for Liquid, I mean, again, Liquid was able to beat complexity earlier, but it was a very close series. It was 3-2. So hardly a guarantee that going into it that Liquid would win the rematch. Liquid, I feel like they felt a little bit off in their matchup against C9 to some extent. C9 was playing super well, but I still think Liquid has the ability to bounce back. We'll just have to see. Right now, though, just waiting for FaZe to select the next map.
I'm gonna look at Too Easy's Twitter to see if he did tweet. No.
Is that the real mystery here? Is that right now FaZe can't pick a map because Too Easy is too busy going to Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I had assumed. His last tweet was an hour ago, though, so he was not tweeting about hooks mid-match.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, hooks can feel super frustrating, especially as Tracer. I get mad when I get hooked as Tracer because, like, it's my fault. You know, you have every tool in the kit to be able to deal with a Roadhog and dodging hooks. So if you don't have that blink on cooldown, that's kind of on you. So it's the self-anger that makes me dislike hooks when I get hooked as Tracer.
All right, I'm going to be that guy and prompt FaZe to go, what map are we going to?
I'm
that guy right now.
Yeah, well.
You did mention that Hanamura's in the pool. Like, if you want to get a little bit freaky with it, that could be a thing.
Mean, Eichenwalde, too. None of these are super standard. The most standard option remaining in the pool is Gibraltar. And even that has been, you know, a love and hate relationship for some teams. If I'm FaZe and I've seen Hardblue single-handedly win Gibraltar for complexity, there's no way I want to go to Gibraltar. But then your other options are Eichenwalde, which some teams still aren't very practiced on, and Hanamura. So they are going to go to Gibraltar.
They're going to Gibraltar, and this is real risky against complexity, where, again, you look at what Hardblue was able to do on the last map. Well, defense Hardblue on Gibraltar is kind of his playground, but it does look like they are going to be taking the attack first for complexity.
Complexity is the most consistent team as far as sides. I don't even ask them when I'm running their lobbies anymore. I just always put them on attack if it's their choice.
And they never say anything.
Yeah, no, it's because they always want attack. Always.
The thing about that is, though, is that when I think about complexity on Gibraltar, I don't really look at their offense so much as I do look at their defense, where their defense is really their standout component on that map. But either way, we are good to go on our end. Letting them know that we're ready. Watchpoint Gibraltar going to be our next map as FaZe, desperately trying to pull off the reverse sweep, because if they do not, this is the lower bracket. They will be knocked out by complexity if they lose just one more map.
It's been such an interesting tournament just as far as like re-ranking these teams. I know when we put together the pool, I said a lot of it is re-establishment tournament is kind of how I looked at it, because you have teams like Cloud9, brand new roster. Liquid, probably a little disappointed with going out in groups at E-League. Complexity, not even making it to E-League. FaZe, they've been looking great, but not necessarily the dominant force that they want themselves to be. And now we're just kind of reordering and re-ranking these. For FaZe to go out of the tournament before even lower bracket finals would be very disappointing for them after losing to Cloud9 earlier today. So in a rough spot here.
It would be a disappointment, but again, like, you look at FaZe, they're just a team that's really marked by high highs and low lows, and unfortunately, if they were to lose here early on, it would just be more on that same trend.
I mean, it's out of the money if they lose here.
It is. Because the way it's set up is first place is 3,000, second place is 2,000, split 6 ways, but you have to get into the finals to get a part of that, so for FaZe, they would leave with nothing. Full-on Willy Wonka, you get nothing, good day, sir.
That's my favorite part of the movie. I don't know what that says about me.
I think it's the thing where, like, Wonka in general is sort of like, you can tell he's a little bit of a jerk in parts of the movie, but he's still keeping up the facade of being nice, and at the end he's just like, work is like, I'm working. Yeah. You lose, you get nothing. Good day, sir. It's just like, oh my goodness.
That movie is so strange because it's like a child movie, but that boat ride is just...
It's so dark.
Yeah, it's the worst acid trip ever. Like, it's just nuts. Whoever designed that must have been on something heavy at the time, because that is terrifying. And then the singing...
Gene Wilder, I think, had an interview where he talked about, too, is like, yeah, I just want people not to trust this guy, where he hobbles in the very beginning and then goes into a cartwheel, just like, this guy is actually just full of crap. We don't know what to think about him. You see that all throughout the movie.
Yeah, you know, is Grandpa Joe. Like, oh, you can't pitch in to help around the house, lay in bed all day, but all of a sudden, a free ticket to a chocolate factory and you're dancing around the room. Thanks. Would have been nice to get your help with the laundry, Joe. Just saying.
Look, man, Grandpa Joe lived a hard life. He provided well for his family. Stop hating on him. Have some respect for your elders. Oh my goodness. But either way, take a look here at this. It will be compLexity opening things up here on the attack. Torque on the Tracer, Joe Meister on Lucio, JKW on Reinhardt, Harblue going to be on Roadhog, Shake on the Ana, and Nicholas on Reaper. So Harblue once more, he's going to be looking for this quick strike hook. You got to think that FaZe knows it's coming, but still not always the easiest to avoid.
Well, Shadowburn is finally on his Genji as Too Easy takes out the Reaper instead, so that's the DPS coming out from them. Hook.
Early hook comes out, but Zarya ruining Harblue's day, setting up Too Easy for the easy pickoff, so FaZe definitely coming in with a little bit more backbone to start things out here.
Yeah, Zom's going to have to play a big part in trying to negate Harblue here, and also Shadowburn is going to need those shields a lot of the time, getting all over the place, so it's going to be on Zoms. I think Zoms has been relatively quiet so far in this set.
Too Easy right now, just hanging out over the top, 50% of the way to a Death Blossom. Again, take a look at Harblue. Going down the ground floor right now on this Roadhog, looking for the early hook. Zarya, of course, can play spoiler. He's going to wait off on the hook, wait for that first shield, and it's not going to get it. Always looking for a Shadowburn. Going in, takes down 2. And FaZe once more, stopping compLexity cold.
Yeah, Zoms does show up there as well and completely wipe them out. This is the Shadowburn we expect to see. It's just, it's so light and day when he's on Reaper versus when he's on the Genji, even if Genji is not like perfect in the meta. Although Genji on defense of Gibraltar has been playing a lot because he can really toy with the verticality here.
Alrighty, so Shadowburn right now still staying in and about, does have Dragon Blade out the ready, does have to watch out for the counter hooks, but hook does come down from Harblue. Shadowburn not going to bite on it just yet. And they're giving compLexity a lot of room. compLexity just going to go into the server room altogether. Shadowburn just thinking, dreaming of getting into that team and getting all that cleave damage, but really just has to back out and wait. Doesn't want to overextend his hand. Has to give the hook maximum respect as both teams right now play this round of footsie.
Yeah, interesting rotations as they've kind of switched places here. A beautiful charge comes in, taking them out, starting this fight off.
Shadowburn does finally bring out the blade, has 2, gets 3, just dash resets right in the torque. And compLexity, for this being one of their better maps, they have not had the answer to what FaZe is selling right now because FaZe, another big team wipe to start things off.
Hey, this is why we always want to see Shadowburn on Genji. He's always getting 3 and 4K, and I think sometimes you just get a little too cute. I think another beautiful allied shield keeps Shadowburn alive after the hook comes in.
One thing that seems very notable to me is I think Zoms is actually just saving shield only for Roadhog hooks. It's literally, you could get more value with Zarya in a sense, but they're stopping the Roadhog threat by just being on Zarya's anti-hog duty, and it's a smart play from Zoms to really neutralize what is one of the very strongest parts of the compLexity side.
Yeah, and they're playing pretty passively too, so that they don't need it to use it for a dive. Here comes the ultimate, though, completely negated by the Earth Shatter.
Factor Fiction, bringing Nicholas on that ride, stops him from tearing people apart with the nano boost. And Shadowburn once more going in big, has 2, looking for more, deflecting the fire strike even, as he is just giving Reinhardt the moves, but Reinhardt says, you're in a very small room, I will actually take you out in the end.
Well, they do actually have a Genji of their own in Torque who gets a couple nice resets. They are forced to use the nano boost here at the end. Factor Fiction did get slept, but woken immediately. They're going to counter a nano boost too. Everyone is glowing.
JKW taking on Factor Fiction, looking for a bit more. And compLexity now finally cracking this FaZe defense. They were just having a heck of a hard time, and credit where credit is due. I really say one of the best parts there was Zoms just saving those shields to stop Harblue hooks and not let him get the momentum he was looking for. He had to go to Winston in the end for them to actually get through that point.
Yeah, we'll see if Nicholas can get this jump off that he's looked. Not get spotted by Shadowburn, who's looking around. He does finally spot him at the top now. Nicholas going to get healed up and get out as they do try to take the top of the shuttle. It is 2v1 up here, though. Nicholas wants to come off the top rope. Harblue switching onto Winston is, I think, a really smart pick, especially this phase of the game.
Here comes Nicholas. He is coming in off the top, holding on to Death Blossom for now. Just good standard shots going into Too Easy. Ends up getting knocked to the ground by the Earth Shatter.
Vector Fiction and
Just holding on to
JKW have just been going all at each other the entire set. Vector Fiction does win that one with a mile-long charge. They're trying to get in here. It's only Raucous up, and I really love this switch onto the Winston from Harblu. I mean, because hooks were getting completely negated by Zombs, but you can't negate all of this Tesla damage and dealing with Shadowburn.
I do wonder if that's just a case where Harblu is perhaps been finally downloaded here, because that was one of the best counters we've seen to him in a really long time, where Zarya just cheating back a bit and just saving every shield for a hook. But here we go, Death Blossom coming out here from Too Easy, trying to hold it in, does set up his team for 4 kills. It's Too Easy and Shadowburn completing things out, and FaZe able to hold on with 0.35 remaining here on second.
About a foot away to getting that in there, so they do clutch it out. So they had to burn every single ultimate, but absolutely worth it, because it's a long walk to get to the objective now, and they're going to take this high ground. Nicholas does have his Death Blossom up. It's the only ultimate on the field. Shadowburn switching off of the Genji that has been so successful for him. Going to play a McCree instead. I think that's just based on where they are in the map and the positioning he's going to need to take.
My ultimate is almost
Shadowburn still hanging out and about right now, and you don't see him on McCree all that often. Usually it's on Too Easy when FaZe goes for this sort of setup, but Nano Boost coming in. Nicholas to the backline once more, going to be met by the Earth Shatter and a big Reinhardt charge. Still though, he's still alive, still in this. It's 3 kills here from the side of compLexity. They're keeping momentum on their side, and they will be able to get this and force a fight for last.
Yeah, they might even get another Ana boost here shortly, because JKW is very low, and Shake is going to get him back up to full health. So Shake already at 82% after that Ana boost already came in. They're going to get a couple kills based on spawns here now too, and JKW continues to clean up. The ultimate advantage is huge right now for this compLexity team as they posture up to try to finish out this map.
Take a look right now, and for compLexity, they only have 1:45, so that gives them 2 solid pushes at this, but you look at the ultimate situation where they are loaded on ults. This is truly their window. If they're going to win this, they're going to win this right here, right now. Nano Boost is out. Too Easy, though, immediate punish. Still, though, it's Harblu in the back line. On to Forsaken. Has Primal Rage at the ready. But Vector Fiction going in deep for FaZe. FaZe doing a lot with not much here when it comes to ults. Harblu, I don't know about this Primal Rage towards the end. That doesn't seem great. Maybe he can get a knockoff, but
yeah,
not necessarily the best use here. As FaZe might have, that just might have won them a hold here on last.
And that's tough too, because Primal Rage, there's only 2 doors to come out here. If you can hold Primal Rage, I think it's most valuable to close out maps on offense, because you just put yourself in the door and knock people into spawn or let them out of spawn, especially on this map, and knock them off the cliff. So a bit of an early burn from Harblu might cost them.
Too Easy going into the back line, forcing out the Wraith form from the enemy Reaper, trying to get an Ana, ends up getting booped and bopped around just a little bit here. It is first pick off here to compLexity, but it's not clean. They're really getting poked down a lot. 3 of their players are almost dead. So take a look, the Shadowburn is going to clean up on the people that were damaged, but here comes Nicholas towards the end, gets the Death Blossom Nano Boost, doesn't get anything with it, but creates a lot of space. compLexity at the very end, still staying in here, but here comes Shadowburn. Going to get counter Genji'd by Torque. Sword fight going the way of compLexity. compLexity now, as it was a rough beginning, threatening to finish out last, but the defensive respawns are coming in strong.
Yeah, Tank's doing some work as Vector Fiction and Zombs add a couple kills in there, and now JKW trying to clean this up, but it's the numbers advantage firmly in favor of FaZe right now. It's going to be desperation time as Harblu comes in here on the Tracer, just trying to keep it alive. He does throw a pulse bomb, gets out of there, but they are down to it. There goes Harblu. This should be a hold from FaZe.
And they do hold it out in the very end.
Score 0-2.
Alright, win condition rather easy, but if compLexity does stop them from getting to the distance of 83 meters past point number 2, compLexity is going to be moving on to our lower bracket finals against Team Liquid. Already up 2-0 in this best of 5.
compLexity was a good comeback from them too. FaZe really had their number in the very beginning. They absolutely just demolished Harblu and what he was looking for in hooks, and it really came down to Zombs just holding on to his shield. He wasn't trying to build extra Zarya damage. He sacrificed his own personal contribution a little bit just so he always had the shield ready to protect whoever the hook target might have been.
Yeah, really well played there, but this is also a map that we've seen compLexity specifically just deny first points on. I always reference it, but it's just because my mind is still blown by it. But Harblu just beat Cloud9 by himself on defense on this map once. Just completely by himself on Roadhog. Shut them down every time they tried to come in. And the compLexity's defense on Gibraltar first is actually very, very strong.
It is very strong, but I will say I'm curious to see how it works out here if Zoms applies the same strategy here, where he doesn't use his shields to build Zarya ult or Zarya charge as a general rule, instead uses it to counter Harblu. Harblu might have some issues. I'm really curious to see how this unfolds.
Should be good. They are, you know, for a moment, they're queued up on their own Roadhog too, so it could be a hog versus hog battle. Shadowburn for the moment's also on this Genji, or rather Hanzo. Instead, got the wrong Shimada there. So interesting across the board. Defensive Genji will be on the mini for complexity. They're going to run a defensive Tracer too. Like, this lineup looks a little bit odd, but just
I think this works out really, really well for FaZe in theory, because here's the thing. Roadhog v Roadhog battles are going to be a big deal in this. If you have a Roadhog v Roadhog battle and one Roadhog gets a Zarya shield, the other Roadhog is just done. There's very little he can do in that situation. So Harblu might not like where he's been placed here, and almost gets taken out by simple geometry. Ends up getting hooked by Too Easy. Farewell, Harblu. Just got outplayed.
Yeah, absolutely, and they didn't need it, but you're absolutely right. That Zarya shield came in on Too Easy as well to make sure that he was going to be completely safe. Another hook from Too Easy. He grabs JKW, unable to get the finish there, so they're still holding on to it. They need to just kind of hold on until Harblu gets back. He is back into the fray now.
Harblu is coming back to the fray. He's not changing up characters just yet. And again, I'm just curious to see this play from Zoms here, where will he just save the shield for Harblu hooks? Harblu looking for the hook once more, moving in, doing all sorts of damage to this Rhine shield.
Shield was just used, so Harblu going to look for a hook. Oh, he tries to hook Zoms. Zoms has his own shield up, denies that hook.
That's, which, by the way, is a lot harder than shielding someone else after they get hooked. So it's just FaZe applying consistent pressure here. The shield's stymieing Harblu. He's under all sorts of pressure. Zoms rolling in, gonna melt his face right off. This adjustment from Zoms to just really neutralize Harblu has been great.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Yeah, Zoms is a rock-solid Zarya, in my opinion, at the very least top 5 in the world on his Zarya. Him and Kai tonight have just put on clinics on how to play Zarya just in a more support capacity, keeping their teams alive. A lot of times it goes unnoticed, but Too Easy doing all the mayhem because he feels extremely safe, knowing that even if he gets hooked, he's going to live. And Harblu, he's done with it. He's onto the main.
I think that's a good switch up here, because clearly you just look at how FaZe is playing against us. They are really just game planning around the Roadhog, so just going to something else, at least make them beat you in another way. Here the Graviton though coming in, pulls in 4 people. Too Easy dropping in, wants to whole hog this, not gonna get the opportunity, but still 2 kills coming off very quickly here from the side of FaZe. They're looking for more. The whole hog knocking things back on Too Easy side, and oh my goodness, there are no breaks on this FaZe train right now.
No, this has been like 2, maybe 3 kills overall for the defensive complexity so far. Another hook does come in there late as Too Easy just continues his reign of terror. Forsaken will help him clean up Joe Meister on the other side. They have not been slowed down at all. Harblu kind of struggling right now off of the main, now back onto Roadhog.
And at this point, go with what you're comfortable on, but Zoms has had Harblu's number the last map and a half or so, so this is gonna be a bit rough, I feel like. But you look at this for complexity, they have to hold for 5.5 minutes, X. That is not an easy road, and again, just shields ruining Harblu's day.
No, to not have at least a decent hold on first and second, it makes this all the more hard to hold, because 5 minutes is an eternity in Overwatch.
JKW drops the Earth Shatter, doesn't get a lot of it. Shadowburn find himself way in the back. Still gonna be kept alive from the Sound Bear. Gives a little bit of a juke maneuver here. The Harblu, as Harblu finally will take him out. Meanwhile, into the backline, it is Nicholas going in deep. Grabs Zoms, and that's gonna be the first major defensive hold here coming out from complexity. Finally giving them a little bit of time to breathe.
A really nice sleep dart onto Ruckus there. Made sure that they were going to have the Ana advantage all the way through, as Ruckus was at 97% before the nap time kicked in. So they were able to hook him and delete him at the end there as well, as Ruckus will have it for this next push, but Shake, having just used, is already at 40%. So beautiful dart from Shake.
Take a look at Nicholas right now. Nicholas creeping here towards the back. Coming out the Zarya's shield, Death Blossom. Not getting what he's looking for. Did an okay amount of damage. Sets up Torque for at least 1 kill, but it's not as decisive as complexity would have liked. And here comes a counter in from Factor Fiction. Gets nano boosted and then slept.
Dart.
Good night combo to that.
I've talked to some people who think that Shake might be the premier Ana in the game right now, and it's hard to argue with just how he's hitting all of these darts. And from distance, too.
Really good sleep darts coming out. Incoming Graviton and a Wolf, but the Wolf is from the side of the attacking team, just buying them some space on their Graviton, and they do. No one died from that Graviton that came out. Okay, here we go. Nano Boost coming out here on to the Reinhardt. Once more, Factor Fiction trying to clear this out for FaZe, but his team dying all around him in what has been a very messy fight. Nicholas, though, into the back, looking for a little bit more as the team defends.
Just doing surgical shotgun work as he picks off tank after tank. There is another dart. JKW perhaps didn't need to slam him into the wall from his nap, but does so in style as they take down another slept target. I just can't say enough about how well Shake is at hitting these long-distance sleep darts and completely turning fights in their favor.
And just to remind people the stakes right now, this is tournament points here for compLexity. If they're able to hold for another 3 minutes, FaZe is going to be knocked right out. And let's take a look at Nicholas. He's creeping here on the top. Nano Boost in. Nicholas helicoptering right down, takes down both supports, and a terrible start to this fight for the side of FaZe. They're going to have to regroup once more.
They got to be a little worried about going too far, but they killed everyone, so totally fine with going in. JKW, and if he died there, would be back up for the next fight anyway. And you just continue to hear these Ana darts, or healing darts or bullets, whatever they are, just continuing to pepper in their team. They just used Ana Boost, 47% for Shake already. He's just had the advantage on this hero.
Shake definitely coming in strong. This is a case where compLexity, they were looking like they were just getting run over. That FaZe had figured them all out, but a really good defense coming out from them here on last. And now we take a look at Torque. Torque on the high ground flank position. Could drop down for a Graviton at a moment's notice. Just waiting for his opportunity. Harblu gonna get the hook, takes down Shadowburn as a result with the aid of Nicholas, but gonna trade his life. So 5 versus 5 right now. Still a good situation for a Graviton if Torque wants to use it. Graviton does come in, pulls in 2. Well, they have it. Joe Meister taking down Zombs, so compLexity still buying the time they need to buy.
JKW took Factor Fiction for a ride out there too, but Factor Fiction trying to come back in with the Ana Boost. It does dissipate though, so there's going to be an advantage in Ana Boost in favor of compLexity here. Who will be the target as Shake has worked his way up to it again?
Harblu swapped. He's no longer on the Roadhog. He's on the May. Just went down. 2 members of compLexity are dead, and here it comes for FaZe. This might be their best chance to bring this map back in their favor. Graviton coming in here from Zombs. Not sure if it even hit anyone there as JKW gets a double kill in the back. No one expects the flanking Reinhardt. Oh
yeah,
my
maybe
goodness.
Saving it for his team there too, because they were in trouble.
They were in big trouble, and JKW just somehow, not exactly the sneakiest character, but still getting sneaky results. Shadowburn, though, Death Blossom on the point. FaZe not out of it just yet, and they do end up pushing it to the end. compLexity not able to stay on it for as long as they needed to do so. It's one of those cases where maybe they thought it had to go all the way to the end, but it's going to be FaZe forcing a map number 4.
Gibraltar is really hard to see the yellow box because of the terrain has this weird slope to it, so the box doesn't show up as well as it does on other maps, because I'd almost forgotten that you didn't have to push it to the end either. But that is FaZe staying alive in this, and I don't know, Harblu switching on to May there. He did nothing as May after he switched off a Roadhog, so he's been switching back and forth. I still think his Roadhog is just the best option.
In general, I'm just going to say the game plan there of just shielding out every Harblu hook from Zombs. It's actually surprising you don't see it as often. I think there's definitely a thing in Overwatch where players do get a little bit greedy in terms of what they go for. They play things a little bit more pub-tastic. And like the best case I'll give an example of is like from McCree's. I still remember like one of the Rogue FaZe matches where AKM, as good as he is, as awesome as he is, was just going for pickoff after pickoff, just being highly aggressive. Whereas Too Easy, he was just staying in the back and saying, you know what? I could play that game, or I could just sit back here and neutralize Tavik all day long. And it worked out by just neutralizing Tavik. He wasn't as big of a hero, but he got the job done. And I think the same can be said for Zarya play, where if you have a Roadhog that's just like ruining your team, don't go for the hero plays, just stop that Roadhog from doing what he wants to do. But Hex, next map gonna be Eichenwalde.
Eichenwalde it is. compLexity up 2-1 in this best of 5 phase, looking to bring it back on the reverse sweep side of things, but Eichenwalde is the pick of this compLexity team, so perhaps they have a plan on it, maybe some May on defense here, but it is going to be the choice of FaZe first. They're choosing to take defense first. I'm sure that compLexity is fine with that, because that means they get to attack first.
Alrighty. So Zombs saying that it will be FaZe on the defense, so they're going defense first, which means that my overlay that I thought would be correct is actually totally incorrect.
How dare you?
Sad times, man.
Don't tell Kai Kai. We'll never let you forget it.
Oh my goodness. So compLexity going to be on the attack here first. I think this is a case too where teams, given how defense has a little bit more of an edge on Eichenwalde, based on the stats right now. Maybe teams just want to see just how far they have to go on the offense and how much they have to go crazy. But either way, letting the people know that we are ready for map number 4. Will be taking place in Eichenwalde.
Yeah, plenty more Overwatch for you tonight. After this set concludes, we'll go to see the winner play Liquid. Winner of that will go to the top bracket. So a couple more best of 5s even after this set wraps up here. We're in for a long evening, nearing the 10 o'clock mark here. So we're nearing about hour 5 of the cast to come to a conclusion. Still some more Overwatch. Too Easy needs a minute. Perhaps composing a tweet. I'll check. I got Twitter open.
Alrighty, so 1 minute right now. Yeah, Too Easy's like, I'm posting furiously on Twitter. It would be the Too Easy creed, to be honest. Would not surprise me. In fact, you're looking at it. I'm going to look at it. FaZe Too Easy.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Disappointing, actually. I actually really wanted him to be tweeting right now.
At some point, do you think FaZe has to sit down Too Easy and said, look, yeah, you know the picture where it's like the kid in pause saying, you know, it's time to stop posting? Do you think Too Easy got that in organizational level except instead of like a kid in hand who's just like an orc hand with a whip?
No, because I imagine if he got it, he would have posted it on Twitter. Look what my org told me about tweeting.
My org doesn't want me to tweet, guys. Please tweet at FaZe. Actually, I don't even know that. FaZe probably has, like, what are they?
He had a tweet to Kib the other day upon Kib leaving Reunited. Of course, Too Easy used to be on Reunited, for those of you brand new to Overwatch.
No, I mean, it's one of those cases there where Too Easy, you go to his interviews back at E-League and all the rest. He doesn't necessarily hate anyone Reunited. Like, they're old teammates, and he definitely has mixed feelings about interactions with them, but definitely still sees them as rivals and still harbors a little bit of salt over how things went down there.
Yeah, I mean, it was amusing. He was just telling Kib that, hey, look at me. I was off Reunited once too. So he was just kind of, you know, a good old-fashioned kind of just giving him the business a little bit. So we'll see what they want to run here. I would love to see Symmetra. We have, like, it's one of the only heroes we haven't seen at all in, like, the last 2 weeks, but I don't think they're going to run it on offense. Perhaps that rework will be coming soon, and we will see an offensive Symmetra, according to Father Kaplan.
Father Kaplan. All right, so we, the one and only, the savior of Overwatch, really.
Yeah.
But take a look here at the defense as they set up. There's going to be Zombs here on the Zarya, Raucous on Ana, Forsaken on Lucio, Too Easy on the McCree, Factor Fiction, Reinhardt, and actually, hang on a second, Too Easy having his standard analysis paralysis, where sometimes he's on McCree, thinking about Roadhog, still probably arguing with his team as we speak.
Well, he and Shadowburn are trying to figure it out, because Shadowburn is so far on the shadow of Popeye right now, just kind of the random hero select screen. Hardblue on this D.Va is kind of interesting if they stick with it, but of course you can never trust an offense. Shadowburn is going to be the one playing the Mei. They want to run a Mei here, but Too Easy decides that he's going to be on the McCree, so interesting stuff for this defense of FaZe.
Well, the interesting stuff here, too, as you were just bringing up, you take a look at Hardblue. Hardblue is going to be coming out here on the D.Va. So, again, not really trusting his Roadhog here. I feel like, on some level, FaZe might have gotten in compLexity's head. We'll see how things work out here, but...
Well, definitely going with a dive comp, though, because both tanks are dive and both DPS are dive supporters. They get in.
Right now, just going right in to the back line to start things out. Meanwhile, look at Too Easy. Too Easy totally content to be here in the back, laying in the damage. Hardblue goes in, knocks him off his perch, but Too Easy is still feeling relatively safe right now.
Yeah, bloodless so far, as Hardblue does take the high ground away and is going to pressure Shadowburn into using his Ice Block at the very least. Still no kills on either side. There goes Hardblue taking out Too Easy. Torque follows up with Ruckus, 6v4.
Both tanks just diving onto the Vulnerable McCree. It's 3 kills here for compLexity, only 1 here for FaZe, and for now the D.Va pick is working out. They're getting what they need to get, and you look at FaZe, they are in rough shape here. Forsaken is still around here with Factor Fiction, but it's a 2 versus 5 or so. It's just not going to work out in their favor as both of them drop immediately.
Yeah, they do end up using the boost onto JKW just to make sure that they win that fight, and just how fast Shake has been charging this boost anyway, it's almost an ult that you can use to just throw away like that. Already in very far forward position, a pulse bomb comes in from Nicholas, who's stuck behind them, does take out Zom, so they do trade out there as the high ground gets taken away by these jumpy tanks. I think this is a composition that they definitely like to run on this map in particular. Both tanks get earth-shattered up top, though.
Forsaken takes down JKW early on. Defense trying to get some degree of momentum. Ultimate coming out here from Hardblue. He's going to and get right back into that mech. Shadowburn, though, building up a lot of ult pretty darn quickly here, 53%, so the defense gives up some degree of ground here, but they're well positioned to drop right back down to moat. They have Graviton, soon to be into Dragon Blade Sound Barrier. Not the worst.
Yeah, Harblue's mech has fallen asleep, dreaming of Electric Sheep, as he gets woken up after a Sound Barrier, so unable to complete that kill as Jomasu takes down Too Easy. So what they thought was a kill in the bank already denied from them as Harblue stays alive.
Harblue stays alive. He's getting knocked out of the mech in a moment. Zom's coming up the Graviton, does set up FaZe. 5 kills total. Oh my goodness, how things can swing quickly in Overwatch, despite being down Too Easy. Too Easy getting here late to the party saying, hey guys, what's up?
Defense holding pretty strong here. Offense still staying on most of their stuff, but Harblue does go back to the hog.
I think in Harblue's case, he's just like, all right, I've been off Roadhog for enough time. They're not going to try and counter me super hard now, are they? Unfortunately for Harblue, he runs right into the McCree, gets stunned, gets taken out, immediately just dispatched. The Roadhog hate is real and Too Easy. Lucky not to get knocked off there, as a little bit of hate coming in from Winston, but take a look. He's gonna come in from the back. Deadeye coming out. This is the highest high noon in the game. Takes down 2 people. And Too Easy. They can't happen here. 3 kills here for FaZe and holding compLexity back.
It's just been so back and forth for DPS versus DPS because Nicholas and Torque did come in and get a lot of work done, then Too Easy and Shadowburn showing up, but at the end of the day, Nicholas gets a kill, and Harblue does end up taking out Too Easy as well, so they're getting a lot of pressure here, able to move this in past that first choke, not having to worry about the super high ground anymore, so overall, the fight going in favor of compLexity as they have 3 minutes to push towards second point. Defense in position, though.
Key thing is here is that you definitely want as much time as possible to deal with last. One of the hardest points to get into in the entire game. So for compLexity, it'd be really good if they could actually get through here on the next push or two. You don't want to take the last minute, and oh my goodness, Shadowburn getting picked off by that hook. It's now 65 in favor of compLexity. If there was wariness for Roadhog hooks and always shields, it feels like times have changed a little bit here as Harblue now starting to open things up. Lucky not to get booped off to his death. Had the... Oh my goodness, he's still alive. The Sound Barrier coming in. He's gonna take out Ana. What in the world, Hex?
That's Surf. Just
what did I just watch? Oh god, he got Tracer. He ends up getting booped off, but it was a good run.
Very entertaining.
I'll give him that much.
Very entertaining at the very least, but they do end up holding on this defense. Offensively, they're going to have 4 ults to push in, but Zoms has been the man of the hour. He will have Graviton as they do try to push in here, and yeah, it's getting down to it. About 2 pushes left for compLexity to even get to this next point.
All right, Nicholas hanging in and around right now.
Genjis, it looks like they're having a little bit difficult time initiating. They do come in this very dangerous spot. They're going to whole hog into it too. A flying Reinhardt does end up going off. There goes a huge Earth Shatter though.
Nicholas and JKW moving in. It's 4 kills here from compLexity. Finally breaking through. Nicholas not even having to use the pulse bomb there, but you take a look. 3 people are still up here for FaZe. They can make an attempt. Too Easy though, just gonna get taken down. Nicholas just taking people out one after another. Really good Tracer track and coming out of nowhere. Gets the pulse bomb. Nicholas, another double. No, make it a triple.
Yeah, tragically too, Shadowburn did use his Genji blade there. A very optimistic Dragon Blade did come in. Wonder if he's going to be looking to switch here. Does stay on to the Genji, so was just trying to gut it out and bring it back all himself. Oh, wow. It's the first time tonight Trash Mouse on the field as Shadowburn does switch over to a Junkrat for this final point.
And this is a case where I think it's one of the few points in the game where Junkrat can really still work. Yes, you're feeding the Ana and all the terrible things that come about it, but really it's a lot of splash damage in a very contained area. Shadowburn, though, able to take down Torque there towards the very end. 65 now for FaZe. The defense proving why this is one of the harder points to get into. 3 unanswered kills. JKW does take down Zoms towards the very end, but Nano Boost only going so far.
Yeah, JKW trying to get as much done as possible. He's still in, just trying to get that charge going, one swing away from 100%. Shadowburn does show back up on the kill feed on that Junkrat, taking out JKW towards the end. 2 minutes left on this final point, and, you know, we talked about this point earlier. Really tough to try to get entry, and now you're going to try to get entry, like, against a Junkrat who's got traps and bombs all through doors. It can be just as effective as a Mei.
compLexity is going to have 2 cracks at this nut right now. We'll see how they handle it. JKW has Earth Shatter at the ready. Gonna knock down 3 people. An excellent Earth Shatter coming out. Sends Shadowburn on a ride. 2 kills here from compLexity as Torque going to work on the backline. Has 3. Looking for the 4th. Slicing right now, hammer versus sword. Torque gonna win that battle. And here's the danger here, though, for compLexity. I feel like they're making a mistake by pushing this up. I don't know about you, but they would be best served by just backing up a bit, because they're pushing it up, yes, but they might be trading short-term game for a long-term battle win, because you look at the respawns, they're going to get jumped on here. It's going to be the full force of FaZe going right in on them.
Well, they've got 5 here.
Before they get full, so Zombs right now going right to the back line. Probably, though, able to take on Shadowburn immediately. Not the worst opening. Zom's not able to get on the Lucio the way he wants to right now. Lucio's still in and alive. Joe Meister giving him the slip, and it's 4 kills here from compLexity. The Gambit pays off. Aggressiveness working to their favor. And now, after what was a very rough start, it looks like they will, in fact, finish things out here on Eichenwalde. 44 seconds remaining, so...
They got the Lucio be in the middle of a breakdown, so he was unable to actually complete it, unable to touch the ground and keep his team alive. Lock it out with 44 seconds remaining, and just finishing Eichenwalde is always an accomplishment.
I feel like this puts a lot of extra pressure on FaZe here. FaZe had moments where they're looking good, but now not only do they have to finish out the map, but they have to finish out the map with enough time remaining that they're not just completely up against the wall on a potential overtime attack. Yeah,
because if they finish it in overtime themselves, they'll get the minute, but they're going down a minute 44, almost twice the amount of time. So yeah, their back's been against the wall for a while now. In the last couple maps, that's what happens when you go down 0-2 in a set in the quick order, which they did. Right now, they look like they want to queue up this combo. I gotta say, tonight, just compositions have been all over the place and varied. It's really fun to see.
I just think in general, that's been the nature of this meta, where despite complaints, despite the fact where maybe Ana gets played a little bit more than other heroes right now, you do see a lot of variety at the moment, probably more so than we've seen. Even on the support end, we still see Zen get played from time to time. We see Mercy come into vogue every now and then. Lucio probably used a little bit too much, as always, but I don't know. I feel like change-ups in hero compositions have definitely been on the right way.
AoE healing is always going to be very valuable, and his speed boost is still pretty good, especially in a meta that is so reliant on disengages. Now, are we going to see the dream? Is Widow going to come off of the milk carton, be found, and then actually played by Zoms? It's not a bad map for it.
I mean, Widow is milk carton status, but I think Zoms is just trying to make a little bit of noise, make them think, oh, there is Widow coming, but honestly, you're going up against compLexity, where you can usually guess there's a Roadhog. There isn't this time, but it would be reasonable. Can't see Zoms getting off the Zarya for a whole lot of reasons here.
It does appear that that will be the case. They are not running this Roadhog, but Hardblue is on the Mei, so trying to let them in and then segment them off, but not the best of plans against a combo. They do let 1-2 in. Here comes Zoms. Ruckus is commencing.
Zoms trying to get right in. Nicholas with the immediate punish. 2 kills coming out here from compLexity, and even though you see some members of the side of FaZe getting in, it's not the greatest look. They're just going to have to back up and wait for reinforcements. So, compLexity find themselves a solid minute here.
JKW has been just styling on these charges. He's using them when he doesn't have to, just because I think he enjoys the sound it makes when he crushes someone's bones against a wall.
My ultimate is charging.
So I think you're projecting a little bit onto what Reinhardt likes doing, but you might not be wrong. JKW does look like he is having a smashingly good time, as right now, you take a look at the defense, able to hold back a little bit. They're going to have Earthshatter up in a moat. They have Sound Barrier. Offense has a few tools of their own, but compLexity well suited to win this next fight as well if they drop the Sound Barrier in just a moment. Sound Barrier does come down. Nicholas takes on Factor Fiction. First kill here, the compLexity, and take a look. FaZe does prioritize the point. They get a quick third, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to win this, as Nicholas just going to town on this backline.
Yeah, not the value they wanted out of the barrage there from Shadowburn. Did not end up getting much. Did take out Shake towards the end, but that was after Ruckus had already died on the Mercy, so not a resurrection available. Now it is too easy. Way far behind. They lose Forsaken pretty late, too. I don't know if they should necessarily really be back here hunting too easy, because that's kind of what he wants, is to pull them out of position and let his team in.
Easy in and on the back right now. Going to be looking to build up a little bit of extra charge here. Again, Pulse Bomb, a good way of getting a big takeout, but for now, compLexity just doing a good job of holding back, not getting bad situations, and there it is. The Earth Shadow from JKW knocking down 3. Follow-up charges right there. Shadowburn is still in it on this fight. Does get the double kill, and is this the time for Shadowburn? The res comes out. He has Barrage. Zoms on the Torque. This might be the turnabout that FaZe needs as Shadowburn picks up another. Still holding on to the Barrage, and this might just drop right on top of Bay's head. And nope, goes for the knockoff, doesn't get it. Still though, a lot of key picks coming out here from FaZe, and big plays from Shadowburn.
Yeah, now it's just the stall out game as Joe Meister comes in on Lucio, gives up his life for those precious seconds. 4 minutes to get to the second point here, and just a beautiful resurrection from Ruckus. It was stopped early in that fight, but now Ultimate's all in advantage of this offensive team. Too easy Shadowburn with the DPS, ult's ready to go.
Alright, so 4 minutes here for stage 2 for FaZe. Their tournament life definitely on the line. They need to at least complete out the map, stay alive, and here comes Shadowburn. Creeping up over the top, waiting to bring the Justice, and there it is. The Graviton sets up Shadowburn. Justice raining on top of their heads. It's a quad for Shadowburn, and FaZe has opened the path.
Oh, it's just as old as it gets. Even like when the release videos of Heroes came out, everyone theorized that it was going to be Graviton into Barrage as one of the best ultimates in the game. Ultimate combinations, it always has been. If you're running Epheria, it's just very little you can do against it. When you do get Graviton like that, it warms my heart to see. Rock is already having another resurrection up too, so if he can stay alive, they're in good position for this next push.
And Winston leaping in towards the top. Too easy, still in and about. Defense gonna get another chance to regroup. Soundbear coming down. Here comes Nicholas. Death Blossom at the ready, taking down both Winston and Lucy on Shadowbird. Just running for dear life. Not going to work out. And again,
where's Raucus?
This feels kind of bad here for FaZe, because FaZe have maybe 4 good pushes left. And their best chance is really gonna be the next push, because they have a bit of an ult edge right now. It's not huge, but they can really use the Mercy Res to their advantage if they're good here. So I feel like for FaZe, the best chance to win this map, they need to make something good happen right here, right now.
Raucus has been hiding for a very long time. He is below them on the map, like all the way in the corner, so the resurrection will come out. It's just, can they take advantage of it?
One coming in from the back from Too Easy, immediately blowing up Shake. Harblu, though, with the counter, and got Harblu in the... Oh, no! Lucio dead on so many levels there.
Resurrection comes in. They do bring
on the way, and this is FaZe staying alive right now.
My ultimate is
Raucus was hiding for about 2 minutes. You know, he's finally sees an opportunity to come in and use the Tempo Resurrection and bring half his team back to life. JKW is not giving up just yet. Tries to get the Earthshatter, does not get much.
Oh my goodness, Torque got the double kill Deadeye, and you take a look, FaZe and Harblu and Too Easy are having like this weird one-on-one in the back. I was just curious, like, Harblu, are you gonna charge a payload? And it turns out, due to Torque, didn't need to.
Yeah, Torque got himself in a really cool position up top. They did not see him sneak around backside there with his Deadeye getting 2 on the kill and able to get some cleanup too. So now there's not going to be a resurrection as Raucus didn't have it ready, but he also switched on to the Ana. Too Easy and Zombs might combine for a Big Bang Theory. 1 minute left on this push for second point.
1 minute is left, and I think they are going to need that Big Bang Theory sooner rather than later. Zombs right now looking set, but JKW takes down Too Easy. There will be no bang in a Big Bang. And FaZe, this is it, X. They are down to 1 minute on their tournament life. That life almost certainly going to be depending on Zombs and Too Easy to crack this wide open. But let's talk about the spoilers right now. Nicholas. If Nicholas can come in over the top with the big Death Blossom, FaZe is going to be flat out of time. So these are the people to watch right now. Soundbear Death Blossom versus Big Bang on the side of FaZe. compLexity on the verge of eliminating FaZe and moving on. Comes down to this for FaZe and their tournament life. And Too Easy dies immediately. Torque with the pickoff. There will be no bang to this boom. And Nicholas moving right in. Death Blossom setting the path. 5 kills towards the end here for compLexity. And FaZe is almost certainly going to be going home.
12 seconds, 10 Too Easy. Just keep it onto the cart and then maybe get there. It's going to be so close. He cannot stop the shoot right there. No, that's GG.
RIP. Big plays coming out of compLexity, and compLexity will get their rematch with Team Liquid.
Final score 1.
So that was a bit unfortunate for Too Easy. 2 fights in a row where he just got picked off really early, wasn't able to get the pulse bombs off with the Graviton. Again, probably more props to be given to compLexity than Jeers of Too Easy, but that's unfortunate because that's one of the more game-changing ult combinations that can get you through a tough point like that.
Well, this is going to be the first combination here. Barrage over the top. There's no eyes on him.
Shadowburn just laying in the damage. Why not?
Yep, so as you mentioned, it's going to be our penultimate set coming up. Liquid has been waiting in the lower bracket for the winner of this set, so it's going to be Liquid versus compLexity next in a best-of-5. Winner moves on to face Cloud9 in the upper bracket. Cloud9 already up 1-0 in that set yet to be played because they're in the winner bracket. That is the reward for not losing any sets so far. So couple more best-of-5s coming your way in Overwatch. Liquid versus compLexity should be a good one. That is up next. Tell your friends, let everyone know there's some Overwatch happening, and we're going to have a great grand finals regardless of who comes out of this lower bracket too. As you know, Liquid looking for some revenge against Cloud9, who just beat them 3-0 pretty decisively earlier today.
And don't forget, too, C9 in the grand finals, and we'll have that one-game advantage, but we will figure that out later because coming up at you next will be compLexity versus Liquid. Which team will go on to get their share of the prize pool and go to the grand finals? We'll find out after a short break. Stay tuned.